We'll compare past simple and past continuous tenses. Let's listen to Andy's story. My name's Anna. I'll be your teacher in this lesson. We'll compare past simple and past continuous tenses. Let's listen to Andy's story. Yesterday morning, Andy was at work. He was working very hard to finish his reports. His favorite music was playing on his laptop. His boss was giving orders. He orders him to finish all his work by 6 o'clock. He completed lots of reports. However, he couldn't finish all of his reports. Because while he was working on his desk, Maggie entered his room and asked for help. He answered her question and then she got out of the room. As he was typing his report, she came back again and asked another question. She came back again and again and asked lots of questions. Andy got very angry in the end. When Maggie went out of the room, he started again and again. At the end, it was 6 o'clock and he had a lot of work to do the next day. Now, let's answer some questions about Andy's story. How do we express past actions in progress? We use past continuous tense to talk about past actions in progress. How do we express completed past events? We use past simple tense to talk about completed past events. How do we form past continuous tense? There are 3 rules. We use was or were and the verb takes ing form all the time. Was goes with I, he, she, it, and were goes with you, we and they. For example, Andy was working in his room. Andy and Maggie weren't working together. Was Andy working in his room? How do we form past simple tense? The verb can be either a regular or an irregular verb. It doesn't change with the subject. In negatives and questions, you need the base form of the verb with the helping verb did. For example, Maggie entered Andy's room. Andy didn't finish his report. Did Maggie enter Andy's room? That's all for today. Thanks for watching.
And that is exactly what we have been doing, talking about the past. This is like a museum. Yeah, maybe we are very historical these days, but it's actually what we have been doing. We are talking about the past and some special combination that we find every time that we are talking about the past. I mean, when we are talking about the past, it's very important to know exactly what do you mean with that past. Teacher, I don't understand. If you've got like a specific time in the past, you know, a specific time in the past, like you say like, teacher, what do you mean? All right. I mean, if something happened at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock yesterday, you said in past progressive. For example, at 3 o'clock yesterday, I was working. Or at 3 o'clock yesterday, I was studying for an exam, or I was running some errands, and you're talking specifically what were you doing at that right moment. That is when you've got the time, and that time is very clear for you. Otherwise, you can talk about the past, but not with the idea of a specific time, but you're gonna mention something that already happened long time ago or in a past with which you don't have any connection at all. For example, last vacation, I went to Santa Marta, but that was like 3 years ago. It's totally done in the past. You don't have a connection with the specific time, you know, so that is past simple. When we start talking about past simple, guys, teacher Alirio very clearly remember that we studied 2 main groups of verbs. We studied regular verbs, and then we studied irregular verbs. And if I'm not wrong, we specifically focus our attention on the pronunciation of regular verb depending on the ending sound. I remember that clearly. All right, 3 different examples, T, eat, and this sound. All right, then we talk about irregular verbs. They are a little bit different, guys, sometimes tricky because, to be honest, it's necessary to learn them by heart. Sometimes their conjugation is so diverse that is hard. For example, you say break, like, ow, break. If you say the verb in past is broke. And if you say, hey, what's your finger like? Hey, broken. Okay, so broken is the past participle. Change 3 times. Sometimes some verbs don't change so much. They only change twice. Teacher, twice. For example, when we are talking about, I'm gonna open the vocabulary, and maybe with vocabulary, I'm gonna give you like my idea. Okay, so I'm gonna start sharing my screen with you because I need to explain to you this fact that made irregular verbs for me so easy to understand. All right, so let's start here. I'm gonna close this vocabulary. It's not yours. It was my previous class today, but this is actually ours and it's long. You know, it's long. I'm gonna open the window a little bit more this way. I'm gonna let you see more, and this large. Okay, so I give you last class different ideas. I'm gonna explain this, but hey, I'm gonna explain the verse teacher. For example, situation number 1. Situation number 1 is when a verb is exactly the same. I mean, you're gonna say cut. It's not gonna change. Never ever. It's not gonna change. Never ever. That made this verse so nice. Teacher, what? You're telling me that they are gonna look like exactly the same? Yes. So it's not gonna be a big deal for you to learn them because they are the same. If I cut my finger, I'm gonna bleed. Yesterday, when cooking, I cut my finger. Second option. Number 3, I have cut my fingers many times when cooking. Okay, so that depends on what you mean. You're gonna use like a different one. Okay, so let's say cut, cut, cut. Okay, please don't forget it. This is very important. All right, another is, for example, verse. The second example is like pay. Because pay, you know, is when you gotta give some money for something. But if you see this verb in past, is gonna look like this. You're gonna see that the verb is gonna be differently at this time. You say pay, paid is gonna be similar, but pay is the present verb in infinitive form, you know? Okay, so if I owe money, I pay my debts. Or yesterday, for example, I paid my electricity bill. And this month, I have paid like 300,000 pesos is households. All right, don't forget the word households. Households sometimes is los recibos de la casa. Households. All right. Then we have another example of irregular verbs. Irregular verbs. And these verbs are like the verb break. Can you see? You say break. But if you say the verb in past, you say broke. Broke. And if you say the verb in past participle, you in English gotta say something like broken. You say, wow, yes, teacher. For example, if you play basketball, it's very common to break your fingers. Yes. I have broken my fingers playing basketball once. All right, broke in the past. Last year, in the basketball competition, I broke my index finger. Index. All right. Or if you're gonna talk about facts so far in your life, talking about basketball, not changing topic, you're gonna say something like, I have broken my fingers many times by playing basketball. Okay, so you need to see like the tense. Actually, in English, it's called tense. Tense es el tiempo gramatical. Okay, sometimes depend on the tense, guys, is crazy, but the whole idea can change. I mean, the way as you write down the verb. All right, so now before erasing all the vocabulary, guys, now we are gonna talk about this. I don't know what happened with the rest of the class, okay, because it's the first time that Kansas group, okay, are not in the class. We have only like 5 students and we are like 16. All right, so I don't know, because I send the link and I imagine the link is working well, because if you are connected, it's because the link is working very well. I don't know what happened with the students. All right, tomorrow I'm gonna call most of them to know what was going on or what is going on tonight. All right, so but basically, we are talking about connector. What is a connector? A connector is a word that joins 2 simple tenses. Among the connectors that obviously we are going to learn in our English classes, we are going to find 2 main important ones. Okay, those 2 main important ones are when, and the other is while. And I'm going to explain now in a moment how these work. What is while? While is when you are talking about a specific moment. And all the time is more associated, not telling that is the only one, but more associated to things that commonly are with ing. Teacher, what do you mean? If you say, while I was taking a shower, taking. You know, so that is gonna give you like an idea. Or for example, while I was watching television, I mean, at the moment you were watching television. Or you can say, while I was studying for the exam, and then you're gonna mention what's going on. Okay, for example, while I was watching television, my mother called me. Or while I was taking a shower, the light went off or went out, you know, at a specific moment. Guys, what is something good about why. Remember, we are talking about two actions, but one of the action is on process. I mean, it's happening or was happening. For example, while I was watching television and then something happened, and that what actually happened interrupts the first action. What is the first action? I was taking a shower. What is the second option? Somebody knock on the door. Okay, so if you say somebody knock on the door, you know, that interrupt, because if you are taking a shower and somebody is knocking and knocking and knocking at your door, what you gotta do? You gotta close the faucet, close the tap, okay? Just get your towel and immediately go and check who maybe the person is. Maybe it's your mom, your father, your son, your wife, you know? And there is an interruption. That is exactly happened with the particle while and when. You say when is more associated, not telling that is the only one. Hey, not telling that is the only one. Because it's possible to say sometimes while and when, and you're not going to find any change. But sometimes when you see while and when, is because we are talking about ing. But let's explain with when. You said, for example, like this. This is a good sample. Okay, you say, when my friends yell loudly. When is more associated to past simple tenses. Okay, so, for example, my friends yell loudly. Maybe there was a reason. Okay, my friends yell loudly. What happened? Yeah, I was singing opera. You know, so when my friends yelled loudly, I was singing opera. Maybe they were very excited by looking at me, okay, just on stage performing incredibly well. Okay, who knows? And maybe the person, what? Yell loudly, very passionate. All right. So bear that in mind. So when more associated to past simple, while more associated to past progressive ideas. All right, there's no one specific order, but if you start with why, don't forget the comma. If you start with when, don't forget the comma. Otherwise, forget the comma because you're not gonna use it at all. Okay, so I'm gonna erase all these words, guys. This vocabulary obviously is important, but I need to give you more and more. And that is why I think it's good if I erase this. Okay, so last class we were talking about one action on process and the other that interrupted the action on course. Okay, so I'm gonna open exactly the same presentation because if I'm not wrong, we didn't finish all. Okay, so pay attention. We're very few. That means that we're gonna have good participation, or at least you're gonna have the chance to participate sorry, more than ever. All right, so please be attentive. All right, very good. So what is the idea? We are gonna blend. We are gonna blend two important tenses with a specific connector. I mean, past simple and past progressive, and we are gonna put them together with while and when. So guys, let's start a little bit recalling the information given by teacher last class. I know you're very intelligent. I know you're very smart. I know to keep an eye on your notes and everything. Hey, but you know. Okay, very good. So we start with a joke exemplified by the things we're gonna learn. You know, anyhow, he was gonna get the fine. All right, and is here. What I would like to focus my attention is actually as how we are gonna mix these two things. For example, we were waiting for the bus when we saw a car accident. You know, and I mentioned there are many ways as you can say actually that, because it's not necessary to say when, not all the time. Actually, I'm gonna show you like a magic trick. Okay, for example, let's put it a little bit smaller, you know, this way, and teacher is gonna try to write down exactly the same thing. All right, exactly the same thing. Now, I'm not gonna say when. Now, teacher decide to say why. Okay, so let's start with while. While we were waiting for the bus, and remember what I mentioned before, comma, okay, we saw an accident. If you see, guys, I'm gonna now, okay, make it this way, separated, all right? There's no any specific way. You can say we were waiting for the bus when we saw a car accident, or while we were waiting for the bus, we saw an accident, or you can even say we saw a car accident while we were waiting for the bus. And there are many ways, but remember what happened after while, and remember what happened after when, because it's just right there where you gotta focus your attention as well. Okay, good. I'm gonna move it on and let's see what's coming on. Okay, so what is the idea? The idea is when we say when, or when we use while, is because there's an action on process. What is the one that is on process here? Teacher, we were waiting for the bus. That was what was on process. We were waiting for the bus at the bus stop when suddenly we saw a car accident. Obviously, that interrupted the first action, because the first action was that we were waiting for the bus. Okay, but when the accident happened, we ran immediately to assist the injured people, because many times, depend on the accident, if the accident is, maybe there are injured people, and amen, don't be just simply a beholder, don't be just simply a witness. If you see an accident, run and help people. Sometimes your help can save lives. Very important. Okay, let's move it on. Okay, so next one is, let's have another picture shown already to all of you in our previous class, but you know, the idea is they were walking home. That was the action or process. And something interrupted, teacher, the action. And what was that? The rain. The rain. We were walking on when suddenly it started to rain. Okay, so maybe you gotta take out your umbrella and start rushing up, or maybe you gotta take a taxi, or maybe you're not gonna walk anymore just because you don't wanna get wet, you know? So maybe you're gonna get sick. Now we are after COVID times, everybody is like paranoid, and everybody is taking care better of them than before. That is very normal. Okay, very good. So let's go on. Another example, and I love this picture because it's going to show you both ways. When I say both ways is while and the other is when. Okay, for example, you say while when it's ing. For instance, you can say while he was having a shower, the telephone rang. You know, that is option number one. Or you can say the telephone rang while he was taking a shower. I mean, you've got two different ways. It's not necessary all the time to start with why, or when. No. But it's very important to recall. It's very important to bear in mind the structure and the tense that is supposed to be immediately after it. Okay, and this is the one that I'm trying to explain to all of you. Okay, second option. Teacher, I'm not gonna say while, because I have said many times while, and maybe my English is gonna sound a little bit repetitive. Okay, good. So what you wanna do? Teacher, actually what I wanna do is say when. All right, so let's go on. Teacher, he was having a shower when the telephone rang. Okay, so not necessarily you gotta start with while. If you see the example now, you say he was having a shower when the telephone rang. If you see the position, it's in the middle this time, but not necessarily gotta be in the middle. You can also say, for example, if you decide to do so, you can also say, when the telephone rang, he was having a shower. There's no one specific form that you gotta use. I mean, it's very diverse, the ways that you can mention this. All right. We study some things very quickly. I'm summing up. Estoy resumiendo, summing up all the information that I gave you last class. All right. So if you see 4 different options, all of them show like process. In the first one, you see an action being done. In the second one, you see another action and process, but something else happened. In the third picture, you see what happened after the interruption and maybe the end of the story. Okay, so if you see in the first picture, we can see a guy. His name is Jack. Jack is sitting down and he was reading a book. When he was reading a book, or while he was reading a book, the telephone rang, ring, 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 and ran so many times that Jack decided to get up and go and answer the telephone. All right, that is the third option. Finally, when he answered the telephone, okay, he found out that it was an important call. Okay, but if you see a start like a story that change because something interrupt the original action. And this is something that I would like you to bear in mind now that we are talking. I'm not going to read these examples actually, because I think that this is, but I'm going to mention very quickly what happened. If you see in this picture, she was painting. And while she was painting, the ladder, she fell off the ladder. She fell off the ladder. And she broke her arm. Okay, so can you see? Ah, gosh, man. Unlucky dog. All right. Second idea. Second idea, we can see a guy at the train station. Maybe the guy was waiting for the train. After some time, Paula got off the train. When Paula got off the train, her husband was waiting for her. I'm going to repeat it. When Paula got off the train, her husband was waiting for her. Okay? So finally, they gathered around with her sister-in-law and say, and they were all together. Situation number 3. In situation number 3, okay, we saw a woman walking around streets, and she was walking around the street when Jim appeared. And later, she decided to go to the station together. All right, so if you see, it's like a sequence of action, and the idea is the original action has been interrupted by the other one. And the way as you're going to express that is very important. Let's move it on. No, this is okay, but I need you to start doing. Remember, guys, the idea is when or why. One action was on process and the other interrupted. I don't know if you remember David Peña. Maybe I can start with you, my friend. Do you remember how to express this situation with the structure that we have been learning, David?
Teacher, yes, but I don't remember what said the last class, but I can do this.
Okay, try, my friend.
When they were cooking, a mouse stole the cheese.
Hey, that is a good one. Okay, so when they were cooking, a mouse stole the Parmesan cheese. Wow, gosh, man. Where is the Parmesan cheese? I don't know. Okay, wow, the mouse is eating the Parmesan cheese, okay, in its hole. All right, very good. What is something, David, like a personal advice, I can correct you. I can correct you anything because everything that you just mentioned is perfect, David. But you know, this is something that teacher Alirio is gonna give you like a personal advice. It's because teacher Alirio loves more American English than British, okay? That is not a secret, okay? And this is why maybe I'm gonna share with you this secret. For American people, when there's an ing, they prefer while. Okay, so if you say ing, for example, cooking, ing, cooking, American people think more about while. So more American, while they were cooking, a mouse stole the cheese. But David, you are very fine with your English and maybe you are British. Okay, excellent, David. Yours was incredible. All right, I'm gonna show you another situation, guys. Situation number 1 and situation number 2. Let's see if maybe, guys, because these ones were already said in our previous class, so it's not a secret. Maybe you remember. Sophie Hernandez. Sophie, good evening. Welcome to the class, Sophie. You suffer from Alzheimer or you remember these ones that we mentioned in our last class?
I don't remember, teacher.
But you can try. Do you think you can try?
Okay.
Okay, try. The first one, Sophie, is on process. The first one is on process. What was happening, Sophie? So we start, teacher, while what?
They were driving.
Yes, while they were driving. What happened, Sophie? What happened?
And they, how
Had,
do you say chocar in English?
in English, crashed into. Crashed into.
And they crash into.
They crashed into another car. Oh, gosh.
With another car.
Excellent. Can you see? So that is the idea. While they were driving the car, they crashed into another car. Or you can simply say, teacher, while they were driving a car, they had an accident. This is another different way. All right. Necessarily not with while, because you cannot say, teacher, they were driving when they had an accident. Or teacher, when they had an accident, they were driving a car, you know, so there are many ways, Sophie. Very good. All right, I'm going to show you more, guys. I'm going to show you more because tonight is your time to speak. All right, Nicolas Molina. Nico, here you are. Now, one situation on process and the second interrupted when or while. Nico, go.
Yes, teacher, right. The mirror drank at the beer had he was sleeping. When the phone rang, I know, I'm very bored. I wanna sleep. Then he was sleeping. He was sleeping.
Excellent, Nico. Okay, excellent. That is a good story. Okay, but basically, let's extract the important structure, but everything was good. Okay, so the telephone rang. The telephone rang while Homer was sleeping. Or you can say while Homer was sleeping, the telephone rang. Okay, very good, Nico. Okay, hey, it's terrible. You are sleeping and the telephone rang. That is gonna distort your dream. You know, maybe you're gonna wake up, you know, and sometimes it's, we are from Claro. Would you like a lot? I mean, you're trying to sell me a telephone line? Hey, I'm sleeping. Okay, that's crazy sometimes, but hey, happen, guys, happen. All right, I'm gonna show you another example. Be concentrated. Situation number 1 and situation number 2. Hey, teacher Alirio already mentioned this example many times before, but I'm gonna give the chance maybe Manuela Prada. Manuela, good evening, Manuela. How are you? Manuela, look at the picture. Can you imagine this situation? Terrible. Hey, can you imagine the situation? You're taking a shower and okay, I'm not gonna say the rest, Manuela, because I'm gonna give you the information. Remember, we are gonna put two ideas together. You use when or you use why. Manuela, go ahead. Let's see if Manuela is there. Manuela, can you hear me? Just let's give a second because Nicolas Molina, give me a second, Nico. I'm waiting for Manuela first. If Manuela maybe can speak or have a problem with the microphone, I'm gonna let you tell me, okay, yours, Nico, don't worry, okay? Manuela, are you around? Can you speak? All right, it seems that maybe Manuela's got an issue. It seems that maybe Manuela's got a problem. Okay, Nico, I'm not gonna let you be restrained. Okay, man, just go. What is the idea here?
Yes, teacher. While the man taking a shower,
Was
What?
the shower?
taking a shower, the toc, the do,
Somebody, how do you say tocar la puerta, Nico? Do you remember how to say tocar la puerta? In English, you say this word, don't forget it, is knock. Okay, now obviously the verb is in past. You know, this verb is easy because it's regular, okay, but it's in past. So Nico, while the man was taking a shower, what happened? Somebody,
the knock the door. What the man
what?
say. The man is, I am the murderer. I killing you. And the man is, I know.
Oh my gosh. But
I
Nico,
need the run. What the man run?
you need to be a writer.
Didn't take a rope.
All right,
And
man.
he run the street and help
Nico,
me, help me.
why you gotta be so like this is like a horror movie? My gosh, all the time your stories. Hey, you need to be a writer because you're very good with the stories. Okay, but I'm gonna just summarize all your story, which is good. All right, and let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. He was taking a shower when somebody knocked on the door. Okay, or when somebody knocked on the door, he was taking a shower. Or while he was taking a shower, somebody knocked on the door. So there are many ways, but remember, process, interruption, process and interruption. That is actually what we are doing. Excellent, Nico, very good story. Oh my gosh, but what an imagination you got. Okay, very good. I'm gonna just move, guys, and I'm gonna show you the next one. Situation number one. Oh, good. Wow, situation number two. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Imagine this situation. Oh gosh. All right, David Peña. David, question. Maybe this happened to you sometime?
Teacher, algo parecido.
This teacher, something similar. Man, okay. David, okay, put together the two ideas, when or maybe while, and tell me the story.
With the picture of the mind.
Obviously with the picture.
When, while they were in love,
But ing. Why they were, oh gosh.
while they were kissing,
Each other, kissing each other.
when when they were kissing, the girl entered and finished with him.
Oh gosh, you're talking seriously? Okay, so while he was, sorry, kissing another girl, his real girlfriend interrupted. Hey, I don't want to know anything more about you. Okay, this relationship is, oh, gosh, David, terrible situation. Okay, I'm gonna write it down on the board because that is maybe something that we can learn as vocabulary and is something good. He said in English, unfaithfulness. Okay, in English, unfaithfulness, I'm gonna start with this very important word. I'm gonna emphasize it in red, you know, and let's say another this one that is like this. Okay, what is in English? Faithfulness. It's like in Spanish to say fidelidad. Unfaithfulness is when you're not faithful at all. Okay, so you say unfaithfulness. You know, that is not good. All right, so maybe this is the situation. Okay, the guy is not faithful and maybe he had a double relationship. Maybe he's got his real girlfriend and he's trying to get another one. All right, so I don't think this is crazy. Okay, very good. Oh my gosh, David, not so lucky dog if something like this happened to you in the past. My gosh, I don't want to be in your shoes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show you another. Oh man, hey, I don't know guys, but it's very funny. Every time that I show this picture, my students tell me, oh, teacher, I remember that happened to me when I was at school many years ago. I don't know. Maybe this has never happened to you. This is not your problem, okay? But hey, sometimes it's hard because you don't take into account that if you're going to the toilet, okay, you need to take things there, or at least to make sure that you've got everything you need when you're there. Okay, so I imagine you have to be very careful with that. All right, I'm gonna have this one, Sofia Hernandez. Sophie, can you imagine this crazy situation? Gosh, I don't wanna be in this person's shoes. All right, Sophie, what can you tell me or what can you create, okay, based on this picture using maybe while or maybe when? Sophie, go ahead.
He was in the restaurant, and in the moment he saw in the side, and
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you. All right. Remember two things. We need one statement with ing. One is with ing. For example, let's say what was happening. What was happening in this picture? Sophie, what was happening? Okay, let's start. Teacher. He was, Sophie. He was, he was what? I'm gonna help you, Sophie. I'm gonna help you. What was he doing? He was, you know how to say this in English? In English, you say he was pooping. He was pooping. Okay, you got it right. He was pooping. When, what happened, Sophie? What happened when he was pooping?
he was pooping, and when he saw,
He saw there was not, he saw there was not what? Y él vio que no había, that's right, he was pooping when he saw that there was not what, Sophie? Do you remember how to say papel higiénico in English, Sophie? Easy, very easy. Papel higiénico. In English, you said, Sophie, how? To what?
toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Can you imagine the situation? You are pooping when you saw that there was not toilet paper terrible situation. You know, so maybe these guys got a serious problem. Hey, I don't want to imagine the possible options because the possible options are terrible. It doesn't matter which one you mention. You know, number one, he's gonna pull up his pants that way and go out of the bathroom like this. Ay. Secondly, I don't know, maybe he's gonna use like a handkerchief if he's got one, or maybe a wipe. I don't think so. All right, or maybe he's gonna try just to use one of his socks. Okay, I don't know. Okay, but actually you need imagination, because look at, I don't think I don't think that this little piece of paper will be the solution. I don't think so. All right, so that is why I tell you, be careful. All right, I'm gonna just go and see this one. All right, first idea, look at here, look at what happened here. You know, it's cute girl, you know, and yeah, this was actually what happened. You know, there was a problem. Manuela, are you back? Manuela, if your microphone is good, let me know. Wow, Nico, that is the attitude, my friend. Okay, very good. Okay, but let's do like a deal. Nico, let's make a deal. You're gonna participate, but don't tell me a story. Okay, the story is good. Your English is good. Okay, but tell me what the teacher need to see. Okay, you have one ing and the other part in past. Nico, when or either why? Go ahead.
Yes, teacher. Why? When the girl study what
Was
was study when your toy sing. So was your toy so what the girl see the toy and oh my gosh, and he ran in the street. Why the toy he wasn't around what I want killing you.
people, but remember
I'm
our agreement. Okay, try to
what
be
the toy is what the toy is what the knife is. I'm gonna killing you.
all right. Yeah, but that is a
What
story.
the girl is
I need a short
what the
step.
girl no didn't
When
study what the tomorrow what the fall exam.
listen to me, listen, don't speak so much because it's not making sense. Remember, we need an action on process and an interruption. The action is picture number one, that is on process. Okay, and picture number two is the interruption, what happened that interrupted the first one. You have the possibility to say when, or you have the possibility to say why. You say why more with ing, or you say when more with the past simple. Okay, pay attention because the story is when, but I need you to tell me the structure that I need to listen. David Peña, be brief and tell me what's the story based on these two pictures.
Teacher, and when a girl was reading a book, a man was looking her.
Okay, that is a possibility, okay? But let's do it this way because it's possible what you do. You can say, hey, teacher, why the girl was reading a book, okay? Because that is the first action. This is action number one, okay? The girl was reading a book, okay? Comma, what happened? Action number two, a man was watching her. This is one possible structure. If you see, you say why. If you see, you say why. But if you see is ing here, ing here. But if you see is ing here too. Okay, in English, this is a possibility. All right, what is another possibility? I'm gonna tell it to you. All right, teacher, no. Number one is with ing, so teacher, I'm gonna say, while the man was reading a book, what happened? Okay, a man a man, in English you say stalk her. Stalk her. Please don't forget this. El verbo acosar, como cuando tienes un admirador y eres un artista y te persigue, te manda cartas, te amenaza porque no le prestas atención. Ese tipo de acosador, en inglés se dice stalker. Y la persona cuando hace esa acción se dice stalk. Entonces yo digo en inglés, while the girl was reading a book, a man stalked her. Mientras ella leía el libro, un hombre la acosaba, o sea, la espiaba. All right, secretly. Okay, very, very good. All right, I'm going to show you another, and teacher is going to show you graphically. I'm going to give you another example for you to understand better. But on your general basis, you're doing it good, guys. All right, action number 1. Ooh, talking about Halloween's Eve last night. Yes. All right. Halloween's Eve, there's a wolf. There are many eyes looking at these two kids. Maybe they are totally alone in the woods. Terrible problem. You don't want to be alone in the woods, especially if you are a child. All right. So action number 1, this is on process. Action number 2, wow. Now, please, I'm going to write down. Action number 1 on process. Okay, teacher, what is the idea? Very easy. For example, while the kids were walking in the woods, mientras los niños caminaban en el bosque, what happened, teacher? Okay, give me a second. While the kids were walking in the woods, they saw a ghost. Wow. Gosh, man. You see? Everything that you see here can be said in a different way if you prefer. Now I'm not going to say while. No. Now, teacher, actually what I'm going to say is this one. I say this. And now I'm going to change and emphasize my idea with when. But if you see, it's exactly the same thing. Are 2 different ways as you can start the idea. While the kids were walking in the woods, they saw a ghost. Mientras los niños caminaban en el bosque, vieron un fantasma. Or the kids were walking in the woods when they saw a ghost. Los niños vieron un fantasma ¿cuándo? Cuando ellos estaban caminando en el bosque, vieron un fantasma, profe. All right, so this is the idea. All right. In our next class, we have a bunch of more ideas. Okay, so the idea is the kids were walking in the woods when they saw a ghost. And in our next class, you guys, imagine with the rest of the class, we are going to be more than usual. For example, typical, the teacher is busy and there is a naughty boy all time, you know, like, oh gosh, man, and the teacher trying to keep all the rest of the class concentrated, and this guy is weeping. Can't believe it. All right, maybe in our next class we are gonna have like this one. It's something that maybe you keep doing. Okay, pay attention. Sometimes there's aggressive sports. Sometimes you're gonna be injured and you don't imagine in what way. All right, another is, for example, this is like the faint hole, because actually this picture was taken, obviously not with the Simpsons, but with the Beatles. Okay, it's very seen Beatles crossing a street on New York. And this is like Homer family all together doing exactly the same thing, but they were walking and look at what happened. Lucky dogs, man. They found a wallet full of money. Okay, next class. Hey, these days, I have heard a lot of stories about aliens, you know. I don't know, but NASA is thinking that it's impossible to hide this secret. Everybody knows they exist. All right, and look at what happened. This is coming up for our next class. Maybe this is your final exam these days at school, you know, and just when you were about to answer the exam, okay, the bell rang you know, and you just you don't have more time to answer the exam. All right, guys, this way we are gonna finish. Like if you are a fisher and maybe you, wow, find a mermaid, like Ariel, the little mermaid. Okay, so guys, but that is coming up, and surely I've got another presentation for you, and maybe next class, I don't know why, but maybe we are gonna have the rest of the game all together, and we are gonna just continue with this example. Guys, thank you so much for all your attention, and teacher is gonna see you next class. Practice and watch the video again and practice. Bye-bye, guys. See ya. Take care.
Bye, teacher.
Bye bye, teacher.
Bye,
Thank you
teacher.
so much.
Bye.